investors and what are the different types of strategies they are following. So based on strategy, there are three types of investors, and based on types, there are so many. First of all, let's take an encounter towards what are the different strategy based financial planning, and they have their own targets to achieve. For example, buying a house, I should have this much of amount at the time of retirement age. How much amount I have to allocate when I will earn this much of amount. So all these priorities have to be set by these type of people and can be defined as passive investment strategist. And the third one is active investment strategist. So they earn something extra which is already earned by the passive investment strategists. Just because of some extra knowledge, some extra risk they take, some bit of investment they also acquire from others and then invest. Here I would say the idea of the first speaker will definitely apply, because the person is not only interested only in saving but also in investing, not only their amount as well as to others amount by charging some fee or some amount of commission. So based on strategy, these are the three types of investors. And why the addressing is required? Because it is not always perfect. Nobody can be perfect in this world. So whenever there is a change, and the change is current situation, which is COVID-19. So everything was going normal, ups and downs were very normal, were very quiet in the market. But these ups and normals have been devastatingly reduced by a sudden effect starting from January 2020. And that declining stage has to be taken care of. So some of them might act smartly, some of them may not be able to act smartly. So then whenever there is a worry, there is a fear, the problem of addressing it comes in picture. So that's why this is the importance of this topic today we are discussing. Now, based on strategy, we have already identified. Now, based on types, like how much amount has to be invested, whether it is very small, whether it is very large, it is a middle amount. So how will you decide the type of investors? In this case, again, you can call them into three types. First would be obviously the institutions. Don't think them as educational institutions, but they are the large companies like insurance companies, mutual funds, or private equity firms. Like these are the individuals who have pooled in the money from various investors, and they have a large chunk of money which can be now invested. For example, if I invest rupee 1, that may not fetch much return in the stock market. That may give some, like, let's say 30 paisa or 50 paisa. But if I invest 100 rupees by collecting 1 rupee each from 100 investors, that will give much better returns. So more it is, better it is. Now, second type of investors is companies. I do understand that in the normal course of business, companies are focused on their manufacturing processes or the services they are offering, but they also have to earn something extra so that that can be invested again and again in expanding the businesses. So this is the motive of corporations. Now individuals. So individuals are the people just like you and me. Only the difference occurs the amount of funds that we own. We might own something due to the legacy of our forefathers. Let's say the Kapoor family and Ambani and everyone. So they will be called as high net worth. You can say high net worth individuals because they have huge amount of money. And since we are the small investors, we have small amount of money. So we will be known as retail clients, which you can see here. So I think this difference is very much clear. People having huge sums of money, they are high net worth individuals, and with less money, they are retail clients. Now, what is the dilemma? The dilemma is actually exists whether they have to invest or not. This is the dilemma at this point of time. You must be listening to various news that this is the best time to invest, but is it the best time for me? That the thing is to be decided. This is the confusion. So in today's world, the biggest worry is the amount that has been earned with hard efforts, whether this will be saved in the future or not. So here I would like to introduce a different concept, the concept of private equity. So moving from a single individual to a very, very large corporate house, and then moving on to a very, very large institutions. So first, you are an individual, then there are corporations, then there are institutions who are primarily getting the money from big people or from small people so that large chunk of money can be invested. So how does a PE firm usually? Is there a caveat to? I'm running short of time. Is it?
Oh, you can continue.
No, it's fine.
It's fine. I think you are not sharing your screen, I believe, right?
No, I am sharing.
No, actually, it's not visible.
No, it is there. It is there. It is coming.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, it is coming. It is visible.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So rather than going by the definition, let's understand the PE concept by this very simple diagram. This might be one student from your college, second student, third student, and fourth student. Now they have come to a level in their life that they have very slightly better amount that they have earned in the last 10 years or 15 years. Now they want to invest this much of amount. So they may come together and find a general partnership. We will have some stake and we will contribute our money to further, so that this large amount of money can be further invested somewhere. But what will be that place? So that place will be actually the companies wherein you will invest. Or these companies will be, let's say, company 1, company 2, this can be company 3, company 4. So if you have, each person has introduced, let's say 15 lakh, so there will be 60 lakh of corpus that needs to be invested somewhere in the world. And that place will be actually these companies. So this is the role of a private equity. And the biggest thing is, as you can see from the term itself, equity word, usually they are interested in taking some share part in the company, means some ownership stake. You will find very less cases wherein they will be providing the debts, almost negligible. So they are primarily interested in taking the stakes against some amount of money, against some amount of ownership. So they usually divide this 60 lakh into certain proportions, let's say 10 lakh, 10 lakh, 10 lakh, 10 lakh each. So there will be 6 types of funds. Each 10 lakh will be invested in a different investment scenario. Investment scenario simply means we 4 people decide that first 10 lakh will be invested only in solar companies. Next 10 lakh will be invested only in the technology companies. Next 10 lakh, let's say, only in the cement companies. So how do you identify these growth companies? Through some research. I will not go into that part. So let's say these 3-4 sectors have been identified, and these sectors are the results of investments in these companies. I hope this private equity concept is clear as of now. Okay. Now, the general definition is generally, it is an alternative investment class and consists of capital that is not listed on a public exchange. And I told you it consists of different funds. Funds means 10 lakh each. Investors means your students. And they have invested this amount in private companies against some stake. So now they will be interested in taking large stakes in the companies. And what would be the result? That they can invest in different types of companies, technology, cement, or etc. These things. You can ignore the last point as of now. Okay. Just we want to understand now, after understanding all the concepts, that what is the problem with the PE funds at this point of time. So usually the private equity firms, they do not invest for very long. They have some investment period, and that investment period usually varies from 3 to 5 years or 6 or 7 years. So this might be the case that in the last 5 years, some PE firm might have invested in a company, and year 2020 was the year when they wanted to exit from this investment. But suddenly a change has come, the COVID effect. Now, there is a big concern, which I would say, again, taking the term from the topic itself, dilemma, which means PE firms are having a dilemma whether is it the right time to exit from their current investment or not. So who will solve their dilemma? the right kind of advice or right kind of careful watch in the market will help them. So the result of this is PE firms are mostly have stopped investing at this point of time. This is the first step they have taken. Secondly, the company which they had invested was valued, let's say, for 5 lakh at this point of time before COVID-19. Now their valuations has reduced drastically because of several issues. Maybe the company is facing operational problem. Their factory was in China and they are not able to produce. Second, the labor is not coming. Third factor could be they did not have any insurance against this particular epidemic, which can cover all the effects. So all these concerns will have pushed the valuations, means the prices of the companies down. It means the company which was worth 5 lakh on December 19 may not be the same. It might be somewhere less, 3 lakh or 3 lakh 50,000 between January to March. So if I sell this company at this point of time, I will definitely get the less price. It means 3 lakh or 3 lakh 50,000. I will not get 5 lakh. So better not to sell, but keep or prepare yourself or maintaining a hold strategy at this point of time. So it means do not sell, just simply focus on continuing with the current assets. And similar strategy goes for the individual investors. They are not selling their shares, rather they are keeping it. Except it is, if it is a very junk type of share, then it's a different case. Otherwise, all of them are handling them. And also you must have heard the recent news that Franklin Templeton also surrendered their some of the investment advice, wherein it was an outperformer since last 15 years. So in that case, they are actually focusing on holding and maintaining the strategy. So at this point of time, what is advisable to the PE firms? Maintain your portfolio, face the crisis, and sell during the better times when the better times come, and the valuation from 3,50,000 will reach somewhere close to 5 lakh or 4,50,000 or 6 lakh. So the result would be they wanted to invest in this company for 3 to 5 years, but now that period has elongated to maybe, let's say, 7 years or 8 years. So whenever there is an increase in the period, there is always a decline in the interest rate or the return that we get. In corporate finance, in a financial language, we usually call them as internal rate of return. You may be reading these concepts, or you must have read these concepts in the MBA classes, but that similar return is known as internal rate of return. So that will be negatively affected because the holding period, because the amount of tenure has increased. Now, what is the, other than moving out of the PE firms, what is the current level of companies or the problems that these companies are facing? The companies are facing, first of all, the restructuring issue. If you see any investment banker, all the work related to mergers and acquisition will definitely going to reduce, but some type of work, more type of work will be occurring in the restructuring side. What do you mean by restructuring? The meaning of restructuring is, if they wanted to had, if a company wanted to had 50 people in their organization, they may come up, reduce it down to the maybe 30 or 35 people and get, and the rest of the work may be done by some automation or some introduction of some robotics. So those type of restructuring processes will be happening. So some, for example, Japanese companies are moving their production base from China to in their own territory, and they have come up with a decision that they will create a different corpus so that the domestic companies can be saved from investing outside. All the domestic companies who will be investing in China will have to bear a severe tax rates maybe in the future. So these are the examples of small restructuring which is happening in the PE cases. And what could be the next theme? So PE funds may be slightly cautious in making a new investments. So they may start investing in the topics which were not previously very popular, such as solar companies, environmental related investments. So these will be the new topics of discussion for the PE funds, as well as some of the index funds that they might divert their investments. And some of the sectoral themes may also occur. Although the defense sector has always been in the forefront for everybody to investor, but the next sector which is going to boom is obviously the technology and the consumer part. On technology front, many organizations are going to move their operations from manual intensive or the labor intensive to not to the capital intensive, but to the IT intensive technologies. Okay, so what does exist for an MBA student here? We can talk of anything, but at least we have to concern ourselves with our career. I do understand that currently companies are moving towards the IT platforms. There is a big opportunity for people who have come from the tech background, let's say from BTech background. So they have some understanding of let's say coding and etc. So they can start learning some of the good courses that college might be introducing, or some of the Udemy courses on online portal courses that are available. And it doesn't mean that if you are not from the BTech background, you cannot have anything. So even the commerce people and the arts people can also make a mark. Let me tell you how. There is a way out. If you're working on an Excel, it doesn't require that you should know the coding. Similarly, whatever all the technologies, let's say for example Python or business intelligence or Visual Basics, all these are the new techniques that you should learn. It might not be the case you do not know the coding. Don't learn the coding, simply know how they are applied. If you know how they are applied, then definitely you are eligible. If you are a commerce student, you need not to be very well versed in the coding part. You can simply know how to learn the platform, how to punch your numbers in Excel, how to write in a good manner in a Word. Rather, BTech people can have an advantage of both. They can understand how does a Word work, or how does the platform of the Word will work. So this is the differentiation between them. From the analytics angle, the companies are going to follow more, and even there is a pressure in my company as well, that whatever work you do, try to reduce the time which is done. So reduction of time is possible only two ways, either through experience or either through automation. You bring in something that will fasten the process. A very small example, introduction of the macros in the Excel. So these are some of the examples. So I think there must be some curriculum on Excel side also. I would advise students to take care of them, please, because this is not the masti time. This is an investment time. Now, on the investment front, if you want to start investing, as already stated by the first speaker, I would suggest, if you don't have money, try some strategies, let's say for paper-based trading. If you do not know these concepts, please, after this session, consult your faculty. Paper-based trading simply means you watch the stock market, you know at this price I'm buying, at this price I'm selling. Try to be very disciplined, that this much of loss, this much of profit I have earned in this case. So that will decide and enhance your trading strategies. So, and secondly, you can log into the moneybuycontrol.com, wherein they provide you some virtual amount, means some dummy amount, 4 lakh rupees, 5 lakh rupees. You can start investing those into different shares. So that will also help you without losing any money. Now, as a student, since you are sitting at your home, it doesn't mean that the learning only comes from the lectures or the webinars. So learning is also coming simultaneously from the different things which are happening at this point of time. Very good example is the recent introduction of the ads. If you see that we have never heard that in any ad they have proposed a thing that any epidemic we will be covering. But nowadays they are saying, take our particular insurance, your COVID-19 will be covered. Did you try to find out the reason why they have specifically introduced the COVID-19? Do you think that if I am getting affected by this and I will be getting the reimbursement for this? There is a clause here. If you go into the detail, who are the people who are responsible for creating all these estimations, whether a COVID-19 people should be included in this coverage or not? These are the actuaries people. Actuaries people means who make decisions, what facility, what kind of services should be given to a person who is taking the insurance. So they, based on some probability based scenarios, they must have decided if 100 people are giving me money, let's say 10 rupees each as an insurance premium, and only few cases are coming out of 100, only 5 people are coming. So rest of the 95 people, the amount of money which I've received from these 95 people can be invested in those 5 people. And obviously not the whole amount will be invested. Some of them I will also earn some return. So this is the idea behind this. So start making those observations why certain things are happening due to the COVID-19 or everything. Everything has a financial impact. Everything has an operational impact. It does affect your life as well as the career. If I'm given next 2 minutes, can I discuss some case of Tranvi? Is it possible? To the moderators.
Can finish in 1 minute. We are running a little short of time. Ashish.
Okay, one more time. 1 minute. Yes, sure. Okay. So there was this case I'm currently working upon. Tranvi. This is a company platform, in Japanese-based platform, wherein they try to give the company who wants to acquire a company, the company who wants to sell their business. This is a common platform. They can register themselves, and our purpose was to advise them as to is the platform of Tranvi successful or not. So we got the data from their website based on the number of users they have, based on the number of amount of business they want to sell, or the price at which they want to sell. The data was huge, 5,000 cells, or let's say 500 columns. So it was very difficult to analyze. So in this case, the only solution that we could do this, it was not manual, it was through analytics, and by using some of the platforms. Let's say we used actually Power BI in this, wherein we can analyze the data plus show that data into some usable form, which is almost similar to a PowerPoint presentation. So this was the case. I think this is all from me, and happy to answer your questions. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ashish. And you covered really very well regarding this private equity side of the story, their dilemma. And of course, because these are the great big investors, and of course, they might be facing the same kind of dilemma, whether to keep remain invested in the portfolios or withdraw some part of it. We can see that, you know, various investments in Ola, Uber, Oyo, and of course this WeWork. These are some of the struggling companies nowadays, and struggling with a big time. And these private equity and venture capitalists, they are really facing a lot of problem and a dilemma rather, I would say. So great, Ashish. And now the next, I would like to invite Dr. Harsh Pratap to talk about the investor's dilemma. Particularly, we'll be talking about the individual investor's perspective in today's scenario. Over to Dr. Harsh. You are on a mute. You are on a mute, Harsh.
So good morning, all of you. So well, rightly covered by the previous speaker, the dilemma of individual investor. Like Mr. Khurana has very well explained the concept of financial planning and how this financial planning will give you an edge in investing also. How you can take the advantage of all these scenarios which are happening right now. So a person can take advantage only when he is doing a proper financial planning. And the equity side, the private equity side of the this dilemma has already covered by the next speaker. So I'll be talking about the retail investors. Okay. So before I start my deliberation, just want to give a few statistics related to retail investors. Those who are not aware about the retail investors, I have extracted few data from Capital Line. Okay. So if we can see from December 2019 to this time, that is April. Okay, so the major loss we have seen in retail investor case. So it was around in the month of December 2019, it was around 9.84 trillion US dollar, the net holding of retail investors. So retail investor, basically this Capital Line has assumed retail investors, those who are having holding individual holding less than 2 lakhs. That means the portfolio of investment is 2 lakh or less. That is considered as a retail investor. So it was around 19. It was around 9.84 84 trillion US dollar in the month of December, and now it has reduced to 6.87. So almost 3 trillion US dollar wealth has already lost by the retail investor. So the dilemma is more important in case of retail investor, because in everywhere we are listening to many advices. If you go to any business channel, experts are coming on the show and they are suggesting you this is the right time when you need to invest and when you can get the higher return. Okay, but before going into the detail, before taking all the advices, I suggest few things as an investor you should keep in mind. Okay, every investor is different from other investor. Okay, so we cannot take the advice of some other person blind. We need to do our research also. For that, I just want to give you few, we can say, not thumb rule, just some guiding principles. If you are a retail investor, first and the foremost is don't panic, because this is what we are observing nowadays. The investors are panicking, and this psychology of panic is creating loss of the network. Okay, so this is the time when you need to hold your portfolio. This is the time uh, that in next 3 or 4 months you can recover your lost holding. So this is not the time to just sell. So I just want to clear first dilemma, whether you need to hold, whether you need to sell, or whether you need to buy additional wealth. Okay, additional investment. Okay, so this is very simple. You need to keep two things in mind. First, how much cash holding you are having as of now, because it is rightly said by Warren Buffett that always invest by your saving. We have seen many a time that few aggressive investors they tend to invest by taking loan, even on the borrowing, because rightly we can see in this present time we have an opportunity to make money. So what they are doing, they are borrowing money and they are investing, but this is not advisable for a retail investor. Okay, you might lose your money, so it is not advisable. First, I suggest, if you are having a share of, say, fundamentally strong companies, especially a cash-rich organizations, if you are having equities of cash-rich companies, fundamentally strong companies, so believe me, all these shares will be recovered soon. Even 6-7 months down the line, they will be at par, and next 3-4 years you will be earning 8 to 9% return positive. Okay, this is not my assumption. This is the assumption which I have received from one of the article from this Economic Time. Recently, I was going through the article of this Economic Time. That article says that this is not the time when you start panic selling. Okay, you need to hold your good stocks, because these good stocks will give you return. Okay, one thing we have observed in recent time, even some strong companies, they are very much down. Just want to give you some data regarding to that. I want to give you some perspective. Like if you talk about Reliance, HDFC, L&T, HDFC, ICICI Bank, SBI, ITC, Bosch, these all companies are considered to be financially strong. Some of the companies out of these are very much cash rich also. Okay, so still their shares are very much on the lower side. If I give you exact data since 31st December 2019 and to this current 2nd of April, the price change is negative in all the cases. It is negative 28.6% in case of Reliance. In case of HDFC, it is negative 36.4%. So naturally, those who have invested in these shares, right now they are having a red figure in their portfolio. But you need not to worry, because these are financially strong companies. So there is no need of panicking, and there is no need of selling this stake. Okay, so you can hold the investment in these strong companies. But yeah, for the companies which are highly levered companies, and their fundamentals are not also very strong. Their 5-year growth is very less. Their operating expenses are too high. So for that, you can consider selling, but not at this point, because this is the lowest. since first week of January 2020 to this point, we have almost Sensex is almost 30% down, as Mr. Khurana was explaining. It is almost 30% down. So this is for that also this is not the right time. So you can consider selling of the equity of these companies which are highly levered, which are the fundamentals are not very strong. Okay, but not this time. You can wait for 1 or 2 months. Okay, just wait for the market to increase a bit. If you are having a at par value, then you can sell off these equities, because in what will happen in COVID, we have to understand this also, because right now the demand is very less. From demand side, we are having problem. The companies, the localities are in shutdown. So definitely, first the consumers are having fear. They are not ready to buy anything which is not very much required. First, and second, in some cases because of the lockdown, they are not able to buy. Okay, so this is why the demand in the economy is very less. So positive. It is possible that in recent time this decline will continue for 4 5 months also. Okay, so it is better to sell the equities which you are expecting that they are not going to rise in future. Okay, one important one, the last, because we are running short of time, so I'll keep it short. So last thing which I want to just tell you, like from the SIP or mutual fund point of view. Okay, we usually consider that individual investors are more inclined towards this mutual funds. Okay, so whenever you are going for even mutual fund also, so one thing is very every expert is talking about nowadays. This is the right time to invest. You can take advantage of this sudden fall, this correction. You can take advantage of this correction. So what I suggest, if you are an investor, if you have money at your disposal, so what you can do, you can invest in SIP, you can invest in mutual fund, but remember, you have to invest gradually. There are two things you can keep in mind. One is price based investment, second is time based investment. Because we have seen since Feb, since first week of Feb, or the last week of January, market is falling. Okay, so if suppose if I'm having 1 lakh rupees of cash, that is access to my personal need, I'm having an excess cash of 1 lakh, so I can invest that 1 lakh rupees of excess cash in series of short term SIPs. Okay, like I have decided the time, like in every this week the market is falling, so every week I'll be investing, like for 6 or 7 weeks. We are expecting like 2 3 months this market will be on the downfall. So there are 8 weeks in total. So we have decided that 13,000 for each week we will be investing week after week in SIPs. Okay, but remember one thing, as of now, always in this crisis situation, go for the large cap. Large cap schemes, the fund you need to select, and you can invest in the series, like in the second week of Feb, I have invested 13,000. Third week of Feb, I have invested 13,000. And second, you can fix your investment based on the price. So you have decided that every 3% or 4% say decline, I'll be putting one portion of my investment. Okay, so in this, if market is down by 3%, suppose we have invested 13,000. Again, we will wait till the next 3 or 4% decline. So this way also you can invest. This will give you a benefit. This will give you an advantage of square off. Okay, so if you suppose I have purchased this SIP on a particular NAV, next it is declined. So later it will help us to recover the loss. Okay, but before investing, you should keep in mind that your time horizon should be minimum 3 to 4 years, because in this time, what experts are saying that it will take around 2 quarters, next 2 quarters to things to be in the normal, back to the normal. So it will take 3 quarters, 2 quarters. So next 6 months we cannot expect anything. Then recovery will happen. So positively it will take another 3-4 years to just give you a return as at par the FD, and next 6 or 7 years it will give you a return in excess of FD. It may be double of your FD return. So the first thing you need to keep in mind the time. If you can invest for a long term, then it is the best time, I suggest. But there is no as such best time for everybody, because there are multiple things you need to consider, because everybody is having a different time horizon. Everybody is having a different objective altogether. Everybody is having a different risk exposure. So based on your own characteristic, you need to decide or devise your investment strategy. So this is just a basic which I have explained. So we will be more happy to handle or give a solution to any of your specific query, because we are addressing to dilemma. So it is better to hear from the students what dilemma they are having. So I just wrap up my talk with this only. So now we will
Thank you.
open for
Thank you, Doctor. Thanks for your insightful remarks about the retail investors dilemma and what should they do. They should follow SIP. Of course, this is the preferred route you mentioned. Okay, so I think we are about to over with the Zoom meeting. So we'll have to re-log in again, and then we'll pick up some questions from the students, and we'll be happy to answer those questions. So I think, Saurabh sir, can we re-log in again?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay, so yes, so let's leave the meeting right now and let's re-log in. Thank you.